Welcome to the K&N Junkyard Challenge. 4 teams. You've got 7 days to build a badass truck. We've given you the tools. Get after it.
Give me a sec. That's good. Thick glue.
You guys cheated.
It's a junkyard challenge. I'm using junkyard parts.
Four teams, 7 days to build a badass truck. This is the K&N Junkyard Challenge.
You saw the way that thing landed. It was like butter, man.
Dude, did you see that thing? Oh crap!
All right, ready? Here we go. 3,
All right.
2. Yep.
There is nothing finer than the smell of welding wire and grinding discs in the morning. Teams are burning through their $2,500 Summit Racing gift cards as parts arrive daily. Summit provided next day shipping on their catalog of parts, which are impounded by the tech team, along with used parts paid for with cash, which get a thorough inspection and are assigned fair market value.
Suspension, down here about the frantic.
All right, we got our battery box here, guys. Belts for harnesses. What's this little stocking stuffer here? Nice hot brake pads. Hey boys, got an idea here. We're thinking about short bedding it.
Oh.
So like cutting the frame, suck it forward, plate it, burn it.
You like long beds just to make them short beds.
So okay, then we have. What's the advantage of doing that?
Looks cooler.
Less wheelbase, faster turning, more capable.
So what? Foot and a half.
I'm down.
Yeah. So 18 inches out.
Totally down for that.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll hack the back, then I can just go right down, and we'll cut the front, and we're gonna line it right up. Do it.
Out there.
It's a unibody.
You just butt welded the frame together here, so you're gonna fish plate it, or what's the plan?
Yeah, we've got some 6x6 plate that's going to be showing up that we're going to go ahead and weld.
Yep.
It's got some eyelet holes in it. We'll burn them in, and we'll plate that whole piece to keep the rigidity in this, because we cut it in half. It's not as strong as it was from factory. We want to make sure that we don't have this thing breaking in half when we're however high in the air.
Pretty much any off-road vehicle, you need to put a cage in it if you're going to be pushing the limits. From rock crawling to pre-running or hitting the Baja 1000, you got to have a cage. So, at least if you like living and all that.
Ladies and gentlemen, your tubing is here. The tubing has arrived. Competitive Metals came through in the clutch to supply all 4 teams with 120-wall DOM tubing to custom build their roll cages so that the trucks would meet off-road safety standards for organizations like SCORE. Since Competitive Metals supplies racers like Brandon Arthur in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series, they knew exactly what we needed.
Only Rock Solid got the 2-inch. Everybody else has
We
got
like it nice and thick. That's how we do things. I got the inside cut in front. I figured I'd get my measurements and design going, but instead of drawing it out on concrete, which there's lack of, or with a stick in the dirt, I pulled a laptop out today and I started using Bentech, a program we've been using for 20 years. If I want to go in and notch this tubing, because that hip bar tubing coming down in that corner might be kind of tricky out here with any kind of notcher or burking or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that part and it'll show me the design of the cut. That design of the cut, I can either print it out. If I don't have a printer up here, I can look at it and take measurements off of it and draw my lines on the tube with a Sharpie, cut it with a cutoff wheel, hit it with a flap wheel, and it's good to go. Everyone else went with the 1 3/4, so, which was kind of a bad decision on our part because we don't have a ton of air out here to use, so the air compressors are kind of struggling to put the needed pressure on our bender here.
There is so much going on here, and it's really interesting to see the difference in the way that some of the teams do their particular roll cages, etc. But you ran into a little hiccup on your main hoop here for your B-fillers. What happened?
I was designing the cage, waiting for the tubing to come in, and computer crashed. Stupid me, I just figured I'd come straight off of that tube, off the measurements I had on my computer instead of measuring for the tube I wanted to build. Oh no, this side kicks out. That side, they both kick out.
So we kind of started drawing out on the inside. We got our holes already where the A and the B pillar are going to be. The C pillar is going to be back there. We drew across just a quick Sharpie line so everybody knows what cage we're on, where the seat mounts are going. I think it's going to be a simple cage, but we just want to be safe and not kill ourselves because this thing is thin as hell. It's not going to save nothing. So basically, you build a box, a square box. It's not very strong until you add triangles to it and reinforce it for all the other angles that it needs to be strong for.
The way we designed our cage is to be able to handle a roll end over end.
Oh, it's like magic.
When we design our cages, we're keeping in mind we're probably going to be going 70 to 80 miles an hour off-road, which you're not going to go sideways rolling, you're going to go end over end at that speed. We cut all kinds of weight off so that we could put weight back on, but we put the weight back on in the rear of the truck so when it's flying through the air it's more balanced out. We went 1 3/4 because 2 inch, it's a little bit extra weight you don't need. 1 3/4 is fine, and then you do all your gussets with 1 1/2 inch.
So where are we at? You got your A-pillar bars set. You're really just waiting to get those attached and then start running the rest of your cage, aren't you?
Yeah, right now I got to cut out the inside of this sheet metal here so we can run the B-pillar down on the inside.
So you can run it in here as far outside as you can to give you as much room?
Yep.
Okay, I like it.
And then once that gets done, then they can measure for these.
You could say it's kind of a hybrid on our truck. It is inside the cab, but the back of the cage where you would have a B pillar, it's usually they have an X there for bracing. That is actually on the outside of our cab. We got some pretty large, tall guys, and large including myself. It's easier to fit the seat inside the cab when you have that B pillar section on the outside, and there's plenty of room to do that outside.
So basically, the three of us came here to talk about that truck over there, Nexgen. And we believe that that truck has been highly modified. All the rules said find a stock truck. The frame's been chopped and shortened.
Drive shaft shortened. Honest to God, you didn't know the frame was shortened.
I had no clue.
I mean, I thought
You didn't see it when you got the truck?
I didn't inspect it that much, dude.
You didn't inspect it when you were bolting the bed on. The bed was off. The frame's in front of you. You're bolting the bed on. You're bolting the fenders on.
These guys have been all over the truck. They've VIN verified it. They've gone up and down. They know more about the truck than I know about the truck.
You guys cheated. A shortened frame, shortened drive shaft. You bought a truck that was built and took parts off of it.
You're full of shit.
None of this falls under the rules of a factory vehicle. It's a junkyard challenge. I'm using junkyard parts.
Are you in tune with the current situation right now?
We know the truck has already been shortened, so the guys at Nexgen are effectively, cutting time off of their build by having an already shortened truck.
So I thought I found an F-150 with a 5-liter short bed on it.
It was from the beginning. That's just my personal view on it.
It could add a number of things where it was modified and then put back to stock.
I've gotten 3 different stories, right? And they keep bringing up more and more parts because they get wound up and they're talking about it. And he's talking about, oh yeah, well, I mean, it had aftermarket arms on it, but we took them off.
Yeah.
Well, that was not what they told me.
I said they either think we're lying, not telling the truth, or they believe us. What are you gonna do?
But we gotta find something. We gotta figure out a resolution here.
I don't think it's fair to try to disqualify them from the 10 grand.
We can explore other options. I mean, we could do weight penalties. I mean, we could do all kinds of wacky things to even it out.
Ideally, if it was up to me, I would take them out of the running for the cash.
Let's take care of this at the race, Brandon. That'll give us a couple of days to sleep on it.
One of the things that's tough here on the Junkyard Challenge is that everything is heavy. And that means that the boys are hauling a solid axle behind the Jeep because carrying it would suck. Oh, crap!
Yeah, our neighbors decided to drag their front diff in. We had a motor sitting open, we had fuel tank sitting open.
Ridiculous, man. Thing to do. We're already in tight quarters, and they're gonna pull their stupid redneck ass truck over there.
To just blow through like that, it just wasn't called for.
Ridiculous, man. Not happy. That's it. It's ugly, These guys, I think nice time is over with.
Well, that's kind of annoying.
More cow.
Down here in Southern California, besides flat bills and Mexican beer, there's just a lot of desert stuff. That's just not what we do. So we decided to stay with our Northern California style and put a solid axle in our Chevy. We're gonna go on strength, not travel, and we're just gonna tighten the seat belts. So, CVs, A-arms, everything about this is all getting cut out. We're gonna cut it all out, have a clean slate, put our solid axle in.
In this type of racing, I think it's gonna be a big battle of attrition, and that's gonna help us get through the end of all the courses and get some sort of points in every one is what I'm hoping.
This is where our problem is right here. We've got a bent link mount, a bent axle tube, but we'll straighten that out. I think that's good. What do you think, Jeff? You think it's straight? Needs another hit. One more? One more, tell me. One more. There we go, right there, right there, right there.
Seriously?
Perfect.
Seriously, perfect.
This is one of the frame plates that we sell at our shop, WFO, and it welds right on the frame here, and then we're gonna put our solid axle in. Every Miller welder got the cheat sheet. You open it up, and it says right on here, 19.5 and 342.
They have really been working hard on getting everything set so that at full droop and at full bump, these dual Dirt Logic shocks are gonna be good to go. They have both of them going, only one's gonna have a coil spring on it. They've been working on this, on the shock tower, getting every bit of travel out of this thing they possibly can. I think these guys are gonna do more with a solid axle than anybody expected.
End of the day, we're gonna be able to race this thing around, take it home, and take it to the Rubicon and go rock crawling with it, and then go back to and do more racing. So I like our style. I think it's a winning combination, especially for what we have going on here.
We are trying to finish all of our suspension work in the first 4 days.
So our truck has what's called a twin traction beam front suspension.
Solid axle works good when you're trying to climb over boulders and rocks and things like that, but independent front suspension lets you hit a boulder on this side and not affect this side of the vehicle.
Twin traction beam is a great setup because it lends itself to modification, and it's been used in racing for decades.
We made a radius arm for it, put it on the hind, added coilovers, and modified the steering angle to keep bump steer away. It should cycle about 16 inches. Bump to strap.
Shocks control movement. That's their whole job. If you're going through a lot of bumps, then the shock has to slow down the motion of the wheel. If you're doing one big jump, then the shock has to slow down the motion of the vehicle. So it's all about controlling weight and movement.
I do have a lot of experience with FabTech's Dirt Logic line. I have had them on several vehicles and they work really, really well. It's easy for us to take it apart and change the internals and make it work better for the applications that we're gonna need on this course.
Riley, dude, I don't know what's going on here, man. It's supposed to be an off-road junkyard challenge. You built a stands truck.
Yeah, we're looking at the hella flush opportunities we've got going on here.
We're going for camber. That's how all the car guys do it, like this.
We figured we don't know anything about this stuff, so we're learning.
Hey, Riley, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. Who can pass it on to you?
We are the only truck running independent front suspension control arms. We got to build our shock mounts, mount the shocks, mount the bump stops. We got extended brake lines already made, so the front was pretty easy for us. That's why we haven't messed with it too much yet.
Our upper control arm mounts in the factory location. Right, so that goes on here, and we still get all of our adjustments to get our geometry right, caster and camber and all that.
Front suspension is really tricky because you have to dodge the motor and you have steering up front, so there's a lot that comes into play in the front, so the front's a lot harder unless you have a bolt-on kit.
We're gonna plate gusset underneath here for the upper control arm mount.
Yeah, because if you cut that whole thing out, it goes to shit in a hurry.
Yeah.
We bought extended control arms are 3 inches longer, so we have a 6-inch wider track lip.
The problem is we cannot lock down our tie rod ends from this thing spinning. So what we're currently doing is we're cutting the ends off of the pitch sleeve, and we're going to use this. We're going to put this back on there so that when we get our tie rod set, we can use this like a jam nut, tighten it up, tighten this thing down, hold everything together so that our alignment stays in.
We wanted to be the most nimble and best handling truck out there. And I think if we do that, we have a chance of winning 3 of the 4 challenges.
We're definitely the underdogs, I think, in this competition. There's a lot of really talented teams here. I think what we bring to the table is camaraderie.
With the Damage Inc. boys. Yep. Dude, you guys have smiles on your face. I think you're pretty happy with how the day has gone, aren't you?
We're pretty stoked. I couldn't believe what I saw, the amount of progress you guys were able to, get jamming on this thing. It's just a ton of work that was done today, and I'm feeling great about it.
I think we were all we went way too hard on the first day.
Not unusual.
We got a lot of roll cage to build. I think just consistency on that part. I thought I'd have a whole week for that cage, but
you'll be good.
The whole shop and Rock Solid Off-Road in general is like a big family. If me and my dad don't eat, it's because our guys are eating.
So how are you feeling so far? You guys think you're doing good?
I felt really good about yesterday. Today we could do all week.
Yeah.
Yesterday we couldn't do that all week.
No, and I told you that.
You told me.
I'm here today with 3 guys that I've never worked with before as a team, actually. But we're doing pretty well so far.
How was it, brother?
We're kind of getting to the point where all 4 of us can't be doing something at one time.
Yep.
So it's starting to, we're kind of stepping on each other a little bit. So yeah, things are a little slowing down quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're here to win. That's the number one. The main reason is just to kick some ass.
So here we are, we're done filming. You can hear that? We're all supposed to go home, right? And we have 3 of the teams here, drinking beer, hanging out afterwards. There's one team that keeps on leaving early and showing up late.
And they don't put their shit away. They don't put their welders away. They don't put their plasma cutters away. Oh yeah.
I'm sure they're real nice guys. I'm sure they go to church and everything. But we're gonna with them a little bit. So. We just do harmless things.
It's full of dirt. You get up another step that says no good. There you go, right there.
There we go. Oh, they will. All right, Orange, here you go. And that's a wrap.
Your suspension excites me the most.
If you're gonna go out and play, yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to weld.
Somebody may have played a prank on one of the teams. I don't know.
That's bullshit that people would do that.
Somebody messed up. We're running a deeper pack. It's actually called a link killer. I mean, why wouldn't you want less stuff on your truck?